What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Bob and Works. And today, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. But today, for real, we talking about friendships and why we need them and why it's a necessity and the spiritual aspect of it. I'm gonna go through a whole lot of things to tell y'all today why it's time to start making friendships, building friendships, or renewing our existing friendships and strengthening them even more. Okay? So, maybe you've said this to yourself before. I don't know how to make friends. Why do I need friends? I don't need nobody. If you ever thought those words while scrolling through social media, watching everyone else seemingly connecting effortlessly to the people that they connect with, while you feel a little isolated on your own little island or something, well, this video, this lesson here, is about to transform your whole understanding of human connection forever. Forever, forever, ever, y'all. What's up to all my fellow explorers of the vibrant mind? I'm your behavior coach, Justin Fales, and today we're deep diving into why friendships just isn't something nice to have. It's literally wired into your DNA, your nervous system, and your soul's blueprint. So, we're going to tap into that today, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure. Got everything, you know what I'm saying? All right, one moment, y'all. Hope y'all doing pretty good today. I'm just trying to get my situation sorted out, you know what I'm saying? My computer today been a little, you know what I'm saying? I just switched everything over, so hopefully it runs a little better today. But we're going to get this right. Thank you for your patience. Appreciate you. Make sure all my notes and everything are prepared to go. But yeah, man, we got to start getting these friendships back established, man. We need each other, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We need each other. So, now I'm going to tell y'all something. We're going to get started on this lesson. I'm going to tell y'all a lot of information today, so get your notebook, get your pencil, get ready to go. All right? So, the need for friendship, y'all, ain't just about wanting someone to hang out with. It ain't that shallow. See, it's really, like I was speaking on prior, wired into your whole DNA, the way your brain works, your nervous system, your soul's blueprint. And when you understand that on a deeper psychological level, you'll get that friendships are literally a part of your existence. Okay? So we're going to talk about the spiritual science behind it, on why you need friends. And you're going to stop seeing friendships as something that's just nice to have or something that you think you don't need, and start seeing it as something essential for your mental, emotional, and spiritual survival. Okay? And you can just look into the animal kingdom. Animals roll together, y'all, and ain't too many of them that don't. So why are you keep saying you don't need people? You don't need nobody. We all need each other. Stop playing. So you know what I'm saying? Look, where I grew up, y'all, you pretty much needed a friend or two to make it. You know what I'm saying? To make it through your journey in a safe manner. So I know we've all heard the saying, you know, iron sharpens iron. So you can take that and apply it to friendships. One friend, a real true friend, sharpens another real true friend. So in Proverbs 27:17, go look it up. You know what I'm saying? It speaks on this, if you're a biblical person. So we're going to talk about some psychological truths today, some science. We're going to get into some occult knowledge. We're going to get into some behavior analysis knowledge. And we're going to get you a better understanding on how to become a better version of yourself and start connecting with people more and how to make friends. Okay? So we're going to look at some of the neuroscience, because your brain literally needs connection to function properly. If you didn't know, your brain literally needs connection to function properly. We're going to explore some of the spiritual dimensions of friendship and how friends serve as mirrors for your growth. And we're going to get into that behavior science mechanics of it as well. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We exploring the vibrant mind. We're going to give you a whole bunch of different perspectives so you can pull out of it what you need. You feel me? And maybe you're someone that just wants to become a better friend. This is also for you. I'm going to show you how to show up as a good friend and attract quality friendships in your life. By the time we're done today, you're going to understand that friendship isn't just about having someone to call when you need something, y'all. It's not that. It's deeper than that. It's about co-creating a sacred space where two souls can grow, heal, and remember who they truly are. All right? So if you're tired of feeling disconnected from people or isolated on your own little island, I know sometimes it sounds good in theory to be on your own little island, but come on. If you want to understand how to build real lasting friendships, stay with me, y'all. All right? We're about to get deep. So we're going to jump into the neuroscience first. Okay? On why your brain needs friends. All right? So let's start with the hard signs on why friendship isn't optional for us, y'all. Nobody is exempt. It's literally a biological necessity. See, Dr. Matthew Lieberman at UCLA, look him up, did some research, y'all, that showed us something very profound. When we experience that social rejection, the same parts of our brain lights up when we experience physical pain. Okay? And I spoke on this in another video. Rejection lights up our brain and it makes us feel like we're physically drained. So, there is a cortex in our brain, and the right ventral prefrontal cortex starts firing like crazy, y'all, right? So it sends that pain signal throughout our whole system. So, here's where it gets interesting, okay? When we experience that positive social connection, our brains release oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. Okay? That's the same cocktail of feel-good chemicals. You know, that's some feel-good chemicals right there. That gets released when we fall in love or achieve major goals, y'all. Your brain literally rewards you for connecting with other people. When you connect with people, you feel like they your people. You're like, man, your soul lights up. Stop playing. And from an evolutionary standpoint, y'all, this makes perfect sense. See, our ancestors had to lean on each other. They could form strong social bonds because they depended on that to survive, literally. They had people to hunt them down, or they had to go do the hunting with these people. They had to share resources with each other in a community or tribe sense. They had to watch their backs when danger around the corner. Understand? Y'all getting this? The ones who tried to go out alone and fight them big old tigers and bears and everything out there in the wild that I don't want to think about. You think they survived longer than the people that created that bond and went to fight together? They didn't make it long enough to get passed down in their genes, you know what I'm saying? So, the ones that did survive were the ones that were working together in groups and clans and friendships and families and communities. So when you feel that deep longing for connection, y'all, that ain't you being needy or weak. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's seeking the social bonds that ensure your survival and well-being. All right, we're going to talk about another doctor and Mr. Harvard himself, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Robert Waldingers. He had a study at Harvard, right? It was the study of adult development. It's the longest running study on happiness ever conducted. Okay? So, he followed people for over 80 years. That man following people for 80 years. Ain't nobody think that was questionable. But that's all right. He was doing good work. And you know what they found with that 80-year sample? The quality of your relationships is the strongest predictor of your happiness, your health, and even how long you gonna live. People with strong social connections had better immune systems, lower rates of depression, and anxiety, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is stuff you can research. Don't just take my word for it. Go look it up. And these people live longer than the people who were isolated or don't need nobody. The folks who were socially isolated. You know what I'm saying? So, they showed the same health impacts. So, a person is isolated, they had the same health impacts as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Let that sink in for a minute, y'all. Come on, stop playing. This stuff is for real. We need each other. You need a friend. And I'm going to show you the science behind it, the spirit behind it. And when it's all said and done, you're going to understand why you need people. Anybody that tell you otherwise is lying to you. All right? So, it ain't just about having people around, y'all. That ain't the sole purpose. It's about the quality of connections. Because I know we all grew up in different dynamics with different friends and different family members. And you be like, man, even though blood ain't thicker than water, this, whatever you may say. But that ain't what we're talking about. We're talking about quality connections. How to build them, how to maintain them, and why you need them. Surface level relationships don't activate the same neurological reward in your brain. Okay? Your brain can tell the difference between an authentic connection and just being around folk. You know, you've been at a kickback or something, you just around folk. You ain't connected with nobody, you just in there on the wall, bump your head or something like this. You want to connect, but you're like, well, but let somebody you know walk in. You be like, what up, my boy? What up? Wow, what up, cuz? Instant connection, y'all. So, this is where we're going to talk about the behavioral side of it. So, the godfather of ABA, y'all, Mr. B.F. Skinner. You're going to hear me mention his name quite a bit if you follow along. He showed us the behaviors that get reinforced, gets repeated when you experience that genuine friendship where you can just be yourself authentically. When you feel seen and accepted, y'all, your brain releases all of those feel-good chemicals, right? So what happens? On a behavior from the behavior aspect, that reinforces your desire to seek out more authentic connections. When you have an authentic connection, you're reinforced now to go build more. But when your social interactions are superficial or toxic or damaging, your brain don't get that same reward. In fact, it might release stress hormones instead. You around people that stressing you, you don't need to be around folk that stressing you. We talking about authentic, genuine connections, y'all. So start avoiding all those social situations, which creates a negative feedback loop in your behaviors. We don't want your brain getting shot off with all the wrong ideas because you're around the wrong people, y'all. This ain't what this is about. This is about recognizing that you need to be in and around genuine people. Even if those people themselves, not necessarily your best friends, just being around genuine people will give you a genuine experience. Okay? Now here's where it gets really, really, really interesting from the spiritual perspective. Because you know, we like to bring heaven to earth. That's what we do here with Vibrant Works, y'all. So in many African traditional religions, there's this understanding that we're fundamentally interconnected, y'all. The Ubuntu philosophy says, I am because you are. You don't exist as an isolated individual. You exist in a relationship. Even if you feel like you isolated, who you in a relationship with? Yourself. You're still in a relationship. You need someone else to reflect to you who you are. This ain't just philosophy, y'all. It's always going to be backed up by the science. If you hear it out of my mouth. You feel me? Mirror neurons in your brain literally fires both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing that same exact action. When you give love and somebody give you back love, then you want to give more love. That's what this is about. Your behavior is going to be now reinforced to give more love. Okay? You're constantly mirroring and being mirrored by the people around you. That's why you tend to pick up energy of whoever around you. If you hang around negative people, y'all, you start feeling negative. You can feel the negativity. Like, dang, bro, just because I'm around you, I'm starting to feel like feeling things I don't want to feel. Like, hold on, bro, you gotta separate ourselves. I don't like that energy. I don't like that sad energy. I'm trying to be happy over here. If that's what you got to do, is what you got to do. If you surround yourself with positive, growth-oriented people, you start embodying those same qualities. What they used to say about the birds that flock together, stay together, or something like that. But yeah, that applies here. So we're going to talk about the spiritual dimension of friendship, you know what I'm saying? And how those soul mirrors are sacred bonds. All right. Now, let's jump into that territory of the soul, you know what I'm saying? And how that friendship and how it relates to your journey as a soul. In the mystical traditions, y'all, okay, friendship is understood as one of the most sacred forms of spiritual practice. The Sufi's poet Rumi wrote extensively, and it might have been Rumi, wrote extensively about spiritual friendship, what they call sohbet. Okay, go look it up. Sohbet. The practice of keeping company with others, seekers on your path. Okay, so having people to go on your journey with you. That's simply what that means. But here's what most people don't understand. Your friends ain't just random people you happen to like or dislike. Now, from a soul perspective, because we talking about in the spiritual realm now, your close friends are often what we call soul contracts, agreements made at a spiritual level to help each other grow and evolve in this lifetime. So, bringing heaven to earth, y'all. Okay? Think about all your closest friendships. Have you noticed how your friends tend to trigger you? And when they trigger you, you can grow because it's triggering you on the edge. They're pulling things out of you that other people don't pull out of you. They challenge you to be better. They call you out when you're not living up to your potential. They support you through all of your transformations. That ain't no coincidence, y'all. Stop playing. That's a cosmic design, a synchronicity that you agreed upon, according to the spiritual perspective. Okay? In psychology, we call this the Johari window. The idea that there are parts of yourself that you can see, and parts that others can see but you can't, and parts that neither you or your friends can see. See, true friends, what do? Thank you for asking. I'm gonna let you know. They help you expand your self-awareness, y'all, by serving as mirrors, reflecting back aspects of yourself that you might not notice on your own. See? And I can give you an example right quick. Let's just say you got a friend who's always pointing out when you're being too hard on yourself. We all got some friends like that, you feel me? At first, you might think they just being nice, man. But really what is happening is they're reflecting back to you your own inner compassion that you've been hiding from yourself. They know it's in there, but they're trying to bring it out of you. They're reflecting to you like, yo, chill out, relax. You be going hard on yourself, man. Just relax. Okay? They're helping you see and embody a quality that was always there, but wasn't fully activated. Something can't come out of you that's not in you. It has to be in you first to come out of you. So any point in time that you experience compassion or empathy or relaxing and chilling out on yourself, that was always there. You just happen to align and activate it. Okay? So, this is where the concept of sacred reciprocity, these words be throwing me up, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Give me some grace. Comes in. Like you reciprocate. So sacred reciprocity comes in. True friendships ain't just one person always giving the other one everything that they want. It's not just a give and receive type of situation, y'all. Okay? So, it's a dynamic exchange where both people are simultaneously at the same dang time teacher and student, healer and patient, supporter and the supported. Y'all the same thing. That's what a real friend is. Y'all providing the same exact things to each other in the mirror. So, if you're biblical, if you're a Christian, in the Christian tradition, Jesus says, or said, greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. But that doesn't necessarily mean dying for somebody. Okay? It means laying down your ego. The need to feel right all the time, man. Your defensive patterns. Dying to the small self so you can show up as love for another person. That's what friends do. We show up as love. We reflect love to the people that we are friends with, y'all. So, we're going to jump into some occult understanding of this too. In Hermetic philosophy, they say, as above, so below. The quality of your friendship reflects the quality of your relationship with yourself. If you're harsh and judgmental with yourself, you'll either attract friends who treat you that way, or they'll treat your friends, or you'll treat your friends that way. So how you treat yourself is what you're going to attract. Okay? But when you learn to be compassionate and accepting with yourself, you naturally attract and create friendships based on those same qualities. You already know what you're looking for. You don't got to settle for no friendship. You loving on yourself, the person has to come in and love you because that's what you're going to attract. So there's a Hindu concept we're going to talk about of satsang, keeping company with truth. Now that teaches us that consciousness is really contagious. When you spend time with people who are committed to growth, truth, and love, you naturally start embodying those same qualities. Your friends literally help shape who you become, y'all. Y'all know that, man. Your friends helped you become who you are, man. Stop playing. Get them some more credit. You know what I'm saying? This is why the saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, is so accurate. It's not just about influence. It's about resonance. Okay? You tend to attract the people who match your energetic frequency. And then you mutually reinforce each other's patterns, whether they're healthy or unhealthy. That's why people can be friends in something called a trauma bond. Okay? Now we're going to talk about the behavioral mechanics of healthy friendships so we can make sure that you understand what you need to be doing to make good friends and maintain good friendships. So, how can we create the friendships that resonates in our soul and it nourishes our souls? It nourishes who we are, bringing the best parts of us out. So in ABA, we understand that all relationships are governed by what we call reinforcement schedules. The behaviors that get positively reinforced in the friendship are the ones that get repeated. The behaviors that get ignored in your friendship or punished, over time, they will disappear. So if you want to build strong friendships, you got to pay attention to what you're reinforcing in your interactions with people. What do you bring up first? What's the first thing y'all talk about? What are you trying to pull out of people? Are you defensive and hidden? Well, guess what? You're going to attract the same. So here's an example. Let's say you got a friend who always complains but never wants to hear the actual solution. They just want to yap about what the problem is. Like they want sympathy or something. Well, if you keep listening to the complaints without setting any boundaries, you're actually reinforcing the complaining behavior. Because you didn't tell them, nah, I don't rock with, like, I'm here for you. But I can't put myself in a situation for my own personal reasons to just hear you complain all the time. I've still got things I need to do in my life and figure out in my life. So yo complaining, as much as I want to be there for you, I could be there in a limited fashion. But right now, I need to chill on it. But we can still kick it. Okay? Once you start setting those boundaries, then you make your friend understand their complaining is no longer a reliable way to get your attention and your sympathy. But if you start saying things like, hey, I hear your frustration. What do you think might help? Like, you really starting to engage their thought to get out of that negative loop. Or, I want to support you. And I'm noticing we talking about this same thing a lot over and over. How can we approach this differently? How can I help you? Are you looking for a solution? Now you're reinforcing problem solving behavior instead of just venting behavior. Meet people where they at. Let them know what it is. Yeah, I have to start letting people know what it is for you. If you're not in that space to give them a part of you, then let them know. So you're not reinforcing that behavior when it comes to you. Okay? Dr. John Gottman's research on relationships identified what he calls the 4 horsemen. Behaviors that predict relationships breaks down to. See, these are the relationships that actually break down. These are the reasons relationships break down. Criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. These same patterns show up in friendships too. But Gottman also identified the antidotes. Okay, the solutions. Complaint without blame instead of criticism. Building culture of appreciation instead of contempt. Taking responsibility instead of defensiveness. So accountability, responsibility, you know, it's a big word that people have an issue with. We have to start making ourselves more accountable, y'all. And self-soothing instead of stonewalling. Let me break down what healthy relationship behaviors look like. They consist of active listening. This ain't just waiting on your turn to talk. It ain't that. It's being fully engaged with what your friend is sharing with you, connecting on an emotional level, asking clarifying questions to let them know that you actually listening, reflecting back what you've heard. When you really listen to somebody, y'all, you're giving them the gift of being seen and understood, which is very important in a friendship. Have you been doing that? Have you been actively listening to your friends, y'all? If not, that's what we have to start working on so we can start nourishing our friendships and reigniting our friendships. That might have been the only reason your friendship didn't work out in the first place, because you didn't listen. Okay? Consistent availability. You don't have to be available 24/7. It ain't about being there all the time for nobody. You have a life too. But you need to be reliable when they need you. If you say you're going to call, for instance, call. Don't get them excuses. If you make plans, for instance, keep them. Reinforce that behavior of yours, that you can be reliable. Consistency builds up trust. Okay? And trust is the foundation. Trust is the foundation. Trust is the foundation of all deep relationships. Okay? So you have to learn in a friendship that you have to learn how to regulate your emotions. This part is very huge and important, y'all. You can't be dumping all your emotions on folks. That creates chaos on your friends. And you expecting them to fix it for you. Stop doing it. We have to clean up that behavior. You got to learn how to manage your own emotional state so you can show up as a stable, supportive presence for others. Even in your time of weakness, that's okay. But learn how to disconnect yourself for a while to get yourself right. Don't just always dump on people. Nobody want to deal with that. Especially somebody you call your friend. And because they your friend, don't automatically mean they're going to deal with it. Your friend don't have to deal with that. None of that toxic behavior. We're going to start creating better, patterns of behavior and better nourishing and flourishing relationships and friendships. That's what this is about. Okay? Every friendship, every relationship requires some level of boundaries, but with compassion. Good friends don't just enable each other to act all dysfunctional all the time. They call each other out. Sometimes being a good friend means saying like, yo, I rock with you, I love you and all that, but I can't support this behavior you're exhibiting. I can't support you not taking care of your son or your child. I can't support these things. I can't support your drinking knowing you're an alcoholic. I can't support those. That's what good friends do. That ain't no rejection. That's actually the highest form of love, showing up for you and telling you what's real and what you need. Okay? Another important aspect of a healthy friendship, y'all, you have to celebrate and support your friends. See, I ain't just talking here. There's research behind this, man. This is science and spirituality, bringing heaven to earth. Research shows that how you respond to your friends' good news is more predictive of relationship satisfaction than how you respond to their bad news. So when you get some good news from your friend, are you cheering like, yo, I'm proud of you, my boy. That's what's up. Keep going, bro. Turn. Are you doing it, or are you like, oh, that's cool? That's cool that you just did that. Are you very nonchalant about it? When your friends success or they succeed on any level of elevating themselves in any way, you gotta be able to celebrate them genuinely, not compete or minimize their achievements. They accomplish something, you be like, I could have did that. Oh, that ain't that big of a deal. Nah, cheer them on, man. Life already has all this many challenges. If you're a real friend, you have to learn how to cheer on the people that are genuinely in support of your success. Okay? So, here's where the spiritual rubber meets the road, y'all. Okay? Friendship is a practice of unconditional positive regard and reinforcement. There's a term from Carl Rogers, humanistic psychology. So there's an area of psychology called the humanistic psychology. But it's really a spiritual principle. It means seeing and honoring the divine essence in another person, even when their behavior ain't perfect or what you agree with. We ain't talking about perfection here. We talking about genuinely learning how to communicate and love on people. We ain't talking about requiring people to be perfect. But unconditional positive regard don't mean being a doormat and getting ran over. We ain't talking about that. It means loving someone enough to see their highest potential and refusing to collude with their lower nature. I ain't finna reinforce you being a low level when I know you high level. Stop playing with me. We all should be like that in our friendships. Okay? So, we're going to talk about some practical analogies to navigating your friendships. I'm going to give you a couple right here, right now, so you can understand. Because, you know, friendships and relationships, period, can be a little bit complex. But we trying to show up for our friends. Especially the ones that show up for us. So, we already talked about mirrors, so I'm going to give you another mirror analogy. Your friends are like the mirrors. But not just the regular physical mirror that just show you what you look like on the outside. I ain't talking about that type of mirror, y'all. They're soul mirrors that reflects back parts of yourself you might not be able to see on your own, okay? Sometimes what you see in that mirror is beautiful. Sometimes it's something you need to work on that ain't quite in alignment with what you know you want to be. A good friend holds up a clear mirror with love, not disdain, so they can't distort your mirror that makes you look worse than you are. No. They just giving you a clear, clean reflection of who you are. Okay? Good friendships are also like a dance, okay? Where both people know how to lead and follow. Sometimes your friend needs to lead just a little bit. To step up, give advice, take charge in making plans. You know, putting you in position to chillax for a little bit. Sometimes you need to follow. Did you know that about friendships? Sometimes you need to lead and sometimes you need to follow. Sometimes you need to speak and sometimes you need to hush. But if you're going to follow, you let them take the lead, to be supportive, to trust their judgments at times. The key is being sensitive to the rhythm and knowing when to step forward and when to take a step back and relax on your friends. Okay? And these are some things you can apply in your life today. We can do something called the daily appreciation practice, y'all. Gratitude practice, y'all. Every day, send one message to a friend, just appreciating something about them. Be genuine. Don't ask them for nothing. Don't complain about a thing, okay? Just pure appreciation. Watch how this changes your dynamic of your relationships. It could be a friend you ain't talked to in a minute, y'all. Okay? You ain't heard from them in a minute. But just send out a random message on how much you appreciate them and see how that elevate and re-energize y'all dynamic. So, you got something called the energy audit as well. This is something you could practice today. Pay attention to how you feel before, during, and after spending time with different types of people, because different types of people got different types of energy. Friends who consistently drain your energy without giving anything back or filling in your cup might not be the ones you want to continue investing your time in, y'all. Straight up. Because we don't want you in that situation. We're not going to reinforce their behavior to continue to drain you. Okay? We're going to do also something you could practice is that reciprocal check. Look at the give and takes in your relationships, your friendships. Are you always the one reaching out? It's a two-way street. You know that, right? Are you the one always listening? Always the one giving advice? Healthy friendships are give and take. They don't have to be 50-50. We ain't talking about that. What we talking about is your friends should reflect to you the things you're reflecting to them. They're willing to meet you where you're willing to meet them. Okay? And the edge of growth conversation you might want to have with some of your folk. With your closest friends. Have conversations about how y'all want to grow and support each other's growth. Make your friendship intentionally about developing, not just chilling and recreational. Nah. How can I support you on what you got going? All right. So, another way we gonna start being better friends to each other, y'all. We're gonna talk about the sacred art of just showing up. This is an advanced friendship practice right here. Showing up. Okay? How to show up as a transformational presence in your friendship. Okay? Now we're going to bring up some spiritual stuff right quick. But stick with me, alright? In the mystical traditions, there's this understanding, y'all, that every interaction is an opportunity for both people to experience more love, more truth, more of their authentic selves. That's what this is all about. It's about becoming more of our authentic self. When you approach friendships from this perspective, from this mindset, every conversation becomes an actual living sacred practice. The ancient Greeks had different words for different types of love. Philia was their word of friendship love. Did you know, like Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love? That's a Greek word. It's Greek rooted. Okay? But the love between two equals who share common values and support each other's flourishing is what friendship is all about. This is different from like romantic love or family love. It's a chosen love. It's a choice. It's based on mutual respect and shared growth with each other. You can't choose your family. You can't really choose who you love, actually. So friends are actually who you choose. Okay? So, here's what showing up on all of these levels look like. We're going to focus on presence, like being there and showing up, over solutions. Most of the time, your friends don't need you to fix their problems. They just need you to be fully present, in tune with them, hearing them. And whatever they're experiencing, they just want somebody to be there with them, to go through this with them. The Hebrew word, hinim, means here I am. not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, completely available to you. Okay? And there'll be different points of time in your friendship where you just can't be available, but we ain't talking about that. We talking about in general. We're going to be speaking with true love. This is another way you can start really showing up in your friendships. The Sufi teacher Hafez wrote, "The words you speak become the house you live in." In deep friendship, you got to be willing to speak difficulties with people, man. Difficult truths. Tell them the truth. Be real with them. When love requires so, okay? But when you speak them from a place of care and not judgment, that's when y'all going to blossom. That's when y'all going to turn up your friendship. That's when y'all love for each other grows, okay? Also, how else can you become better at being a friend? Start holding spaces for your friends of transformation. Sometimes your friends are going through something major in their life, a major change. Maybe they moving, or they having kids, or they got this new career that requires more out of them. Spiritual awakenings. Maybe they're having difficulty in their health. Your job ain't to fix them or rush them through their process. Your job is to hold steady, a loving space while they do their work. Okay? It ain't about fixing folk. It's about giving them a chance to fix themselves and loving them anyway through the process. And then, last but not least, y'all, we got to start celebrating our friends authentically, being happy for them, no matter what they achieve. One of the greatest gifts you can give a friend is permission to fully be themselves, y'all. When they share something vulnerable with you, when they express a dream that might seem out there or impossible to you through your limited belief system, or when they struggling with guilt or shame or something, you meet them with acceptance and love, okay? So, here's what I need you to fully understand. Fam bam, you ain't meant to walk this life alone. So stop letting people convince you of that. The need for friendship ain't a weakness. It's a recognition of your fundamental interdependence with all of life. Nobody can live without somebody else. Every person in your life is there for a reason, y'all. Some are there to teach you something. Some are there to learn from you. They're looking up to you. Some are there just walking alongside you on your journey, cheering you on. You don't even know it. Praying for you. You don't even know it. Your job is to show up with consciousness, with love, with the understanding that friendship is one of the most sacred practices available to human beings. You got a friend in me. I done told you. So this week I want you to do something a little bit different, okay? Instead of waiting for people to reach out to you, be the one who reaches out. Even if you've already reached out 100 times, this is going to be different this time, because we're going to make it intentionally different. And we're going to filter out what ain't for us, okay? Send that text. Make that call. Plan that get together, y'all, okay? Stop waiting for perfect friends to show up in your life and start being the kind of friend you want to have, because then you're going to attract that back to you. And pay attention to friendships that are already in your life. Are they supporting you or keeping you stuck? Always want something from you. Are you showing up as your best self, or are you being a phony? Don't be a phony. Remember, the quality of your friendships is a direct reflection of the quality of your relationship with yourself. Friendships just showing you who you are. I want you to try this, all right? Choose one friendship this week, new or old. It could be from way back. It don't matter. And approach it as a spiritual practice, okay? This is what I want you to do. Before you interact with that person that you have in mind, set an intention to show up with presence, appreciation, and authentic love, okay? See how that changes that dynamic between y'all. I got a couple folk I need to go on, you know what I'm saying, hit up just on some love. Just show them some love. Might not have talked in a while, but I got a lot of love for a lot of folk, okay? And y'all need to do the same. Now, if this message touched your heart, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for all this vibrancy. And drop a comment telling me about a friend who's been a mirror for your growth. Let's build a community of people who understand that friendship is sacred work, and we do need each other, y'all. Now, until next time, keep exploring that vibrant mind of yours. And remember, you get everything you need when you become a good friend. Okay? You just gotta choose to show up in that way. Now, peace, love, and sacred connection to all of y'all. Stay vibrant. And if you need help with growing, I have a growth journal. Check out the description. Get it today.